Hey, welcome back to the Open Mic Podcast. I'm your host, Noah Jones, and today I'm joined by AdamAtom, and their three band members.
I'm Zarin. I play the bass.
I'm Trevor, and I play the drums.
And I'm Chase, and I sing and play guitar.
That's awesome. And you guys are opening the After Hours series for us with the Magnavoxes, and it's going to be a really great show. I'm really excited for it. That's on April 12th, and it's going to be kicking off your tour. Talk to me a little bit about the show being a kickoff tour. Does that make it super special for you all?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'd say for sure. I remember playing with our friends in Narrow Arrow they did a similar setup, like a tour kickoff at a Richland Source gig, which I remember turned out really well. So I'm hoping for the same.
Yeah, that may be
turnout.
one of the largest crowds that we had ever expected. It's actually really funny because the week that all happened, I think that Narrow Arrow had a gig lined up at another venue. I can't remember which one, so it doesn't matter. But they had a venue lined up, and then it fell through. And Jay had just sort of made it public that we were moving into the Idea Works building. And at some point throughout the middle of the week, we were moving. Jay asked me, he was like, now, could we throw a show here on Friday? And it was like a Wednesday. And I was like, I think so. We probably have the equipment and everything to be able to do it. It's just going to take a lot of volunteers. Well, no one volunteered. So it's just me and Jay, running around like chickens with our heads cut off, trying to move everything into it so that it looks aesthetically okay, but also make sure that everything sounds right. And we had a great crowd, and it was awesome. So it was really great turnout.
Yeah.
But you're an alumni of the Richland Source After Hours as well. You opened, what was it, Volume 2?
I think so, yeah.
At our old building,
so.
yeah. So, it's really great. I'm really excited to hear you guys. You guys are going to have your album come out the day before, so I'm sure that you'll bring it for sale as well. That's a self-titled EP, correct? Or is it an album?
It's a self-titled album. There's 9 songs, so whatever you'd want to consider it. It's kind of in the in-between
that
range.
gray area, sure.
But we were talking about, because we got physical tapes made for the album, but we're probably, going back on what we were just talking about with Narrow Arrow, they when they played the show, they sold out of a lot of their merch right before the tour here because it was such a big show.
Yeah, I think we maybe had 200 people at a certain point.
Yeah, so we're trying not to do that. So hopefully, we are coming back on 420 at the Phoenix. Yeah, the Phoenix. So we'll have merch for sure there, but yeah, for the After Hours show, probably just going to try to save it, because we make all our own merch and everything, so it's hard to get large quantities at a time,
Well, talk to me about the album. So you said there are 9 songs on it. It's your first album release. Just what were your thoughts behind it and stuff like that?
We just kind of play stuff together, and
we jam, and then we're like, all right, let's put this together, and then when it's done, that's the natural thing to do, is record it. But Trevor is a recording wizard and genius.
Not really.
Self-taught. So thankfully we were able to record everything on our own time at our own house, and very laid back. Whenever we want to work on it, we just worked on it, and that's why also it kind of took a little while. But
We were pretty serious with it though too.
Right.
We wanted to make sure everything was absolutely how we wanted it and how we wanted it to sound, and made sure our everything got across perfectly.
Right.
Or as perfect as possible, at least.
So you guys live at Bonfire Nation. What's that like? Is it just you all, or is Cody still living there and stuff too?
Yeah. Cody still lives there, and the Touch, they still practice there and hang out there, and so still a nice sense of community, going on.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like a really great place for people who are sort of in that indie rock and roll sort of setting to not only get to be around people who are really great at it, but also just sort of get to hang out with friends and stuff all the time. It just seems like it'd be a really great setting for you all.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'd say it's the ideal situation for a band to,
Well, whenever we all always just hang out, and we can just get our instruments at any time and just play.
Right.
And
right.
It doesn't even have to be what like AdamAtom. We can just get together and make something.
And that's how we come
Just-
up with stuff too, you know. And it like paves way for new ideas and whatnot because there's no restriction, you know, on like there's no time crunch. There's no, you know, it's not like we're setting up a meeting to get together to work on new material. It's just whenever we're all bored and
there's a lot of random times.
Yeah, jam
where
sessions.
We'll just start
break out.
playing.
Like Chase races downstairs, wakes someone up off the couch, be like, "Hey, I have this really groovy tune."
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, so let's talk a little bit about living life in Mansfield. Great music scene here. Talk to me a little bit about how you guys sort of feel about the music scene and where you guys fit in it.
What I like about it is that all of our friends play music, and it's great because there's so many shows that go on. And so it's not just, you're not just with certain people all the time. There's always the community comes together and everybody is like, hey, how you doing? How you been? You know?
Yeah.
And that's a really
There's
good
like
thing.
a lot of really, really good bands around here.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, so
And
good.
that's a product though of being just like a small like Midwestern town that is kind of on, you know, for the most part, like, I mean, I dare say like in the shadow of Cleveland and Columbus sort of thing, you know what I mean? But
No,
like,
I totally agree.
yeah, and
there are
and
definitely bands here that could compete with those bands.
yeah, for sure. And the scene here is the same. It's also like representative of that. And it's just like that's the product of what happens when you're just bored and kind of in a small town. It's not a small town, but it's not a big city either.
It's
We have
small.
Morgan Freeman.
That's true. Yeah, and there is like this unique.
Well, we really have
history.
Morgan Freeman's son.
Right. Yeah, he's coming back to
to
visit for the Shawshank.
Yeah, in August. I think it's like August 25th, but I'm not sure. I'm not super involved with those details at the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's cool. So talk to me a little bit. I mean, we're sort of going back and forth, and that's my fault. But I meant to ask you. Talk to me a little bit more about the How You Guys Write. Is it?
Well, usually Chase has some sort of guitar thing, and then he'll come in and sort of play, and then Trevor will start to play along, and then I'll kind of come in and
Yeah. You just kind of work off of each other.
Yeah.
you know?
We just we'll all kind of like come up with ideas like here and there, but usually Chase will have something on guitar, and then
That seems to be like the easiest way to come up with a melody for vocal parts or rhythm
Right,
or whatever.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool. I remember, Chase, you were actually, I don't know if you know this, you were the very first person in Mansfield that I ever spoke to about being a musician.
Nice.
And so for the longest time, I thought that, number one, I was like, oh, he's this really great musician, and like we're cool. Like I have his number, and like he's awesome. and now I'm telling you, and I'm embarrassed. But I just thought it was funny that you told me that because you performed, because I made this really shitty video where like the sound was awful and it was just not my best video. I've gotten a lot better
in the
since.
bus or
Yeah, in your tour bus. And I remember that you were telling me that like your pinky is double jointed or something.
Yeah, I'm missing knuckles. In both of my
and
pinkies.
you use it as like a special way to play your instrument.
Right.
And that's so funny.
It's like a little
hammers.
hammer, that when with this hand, because I have it on both hands, so this hand it helps to kind of do like pull-offs and hammer-ons and such, and but with this hand it kind of is, I think, more of a crutch, you know what I mean? Like
I sort of have weird pinkies too. They're like bent.
Oh my gosh.
yeah, his pinkies go like
This is like 45-degree angle.
if he puts it makes a Y or
I don't have weird pinkies.
Do you have normal fingers?
I don't know. My fingers seem alright.
You're the minority.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just.
He has normal
I'm just
fingers.
weird.
His fingers do something and they're weird, but mine are just weird and they're sort of a crutch. They don't really do much at all.
So you guys are an independent band, correct?
I mean, I think there's a lot of kind of like advocacy for being an independent artist right now.
Yeah, a lot of bands that we like are independent.
Yeah,
and we kind of take after.
What do you think
that
is
a
the
little bit.
difference between independent and bands that are signed in that way?
Money.
Yeah,
that's the big difference.
sure.
Well, I guess what I'm really asking is like why, like what about it is the reason that you're not? Or maybe I'm
Mostly because we haven't
misunderstanding.
been given a record deal yet,
Yeah.
or an offer.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I mean, it's not like we're like totally. I wouldn't say I'm totally against being on a label.
Okay, that's
but
nice. Okay.
yeah, but from what I understand, every artist is independent, for the most part of their career, or like
at least for a while.
Yeah, at least for a while
until they get
until you become Maroon 5 and then you sell out.
Right. And which I don't plan on doing.
Right. Yeah.
I do want a California tattooed across my stomach.
That's
Just
true.
so you
That's
can
true.
take your shirt off at the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That has to be in the contract, or else we're not.
That's on the
signing.
writer. You just gotta get it.
Gotcha. Well, so talk to me a little bit about your tour. I understand that you guys are going to be on the East Coast or all over the place. Tell me a little bit about it.
This
So
is
we're
me and Zarin's first.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
haven't been on tour.
Me and Trevor haven't been on tour.
Yeah, so we're
Okay.
pretty.
Chase has. He's a pro at it
Yeah.
already. So we're following in his footsteps and hoping that he leads us to victory.
right. But then again, we're touring with the Touch, so
Yeah.
it's all pretty
So
up
it's-
in the air.
there's no chance we'll come back
could,
alive.
it could just fall through right at the most crucial moment.
Yeah, for sure. But at least you'll have plenty of tapes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
That's important. But where all are you guys going?
We're going to New York and then into Massachusetts for a couple shows and into New Hampshire and then down into New Jersey and back.
Okay, cool. So like the area that Cody at least lived when he was
Yeah.
in college or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
mhm.
Okay. Yeah, because he was from Boston. I don't remember
Yeah,
where
yeah.
he went. One of those really good music
Berkeley,
schools.
I
Berkeley,
believe,
okay.
yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, that'll be an exciting time. And they're really fun to hang out with at the coffee shop, so I'm sure that they're really fun to hang out with.
It'll be fun. It'll be
yeah.
a really fun
Yeah.
tour.
How
Right.
long is the tour?
Just a week, yeah.
Okay. Cool. What are your guys' thoughts on the DIY scene?
Yeah, I would say like really important, specifically for like our community and kind of going back to what we were talking about with the Mansfield scene. Like I'd say most or if not all artists here are pretty much independent and are largely DIY and it's great and I think that's the future definitely of music, and it's the past too because people have
Sure.
always done stuff themselves, but as far as like within the mainstream music,
Yeah, there's a lot more like big people that are just
totally independent and even down to like making like we said, making merch ourselves and stuff, and like bands that do that still at a larger scale, and it's just so easy to do it now because of the internet and like social media.
Gotcha. So, you have on here that you want to talk about how you gather inspiration. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? Or is that just like your influences of bands? Or is it just like late nights smoking a bong?
Mostly, right?
Yeah, both.
A little bit of both, yin and yang.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, inspiration like around here is pretty easy to come by. I'd say there's a lot of honestly crazy stuff that happens that just is like, who's filming this? You know what I mean? Like that's a big joke of like among friends and people is just like, who's writing this? Who's filming this? Because this is too good
Can
to
you
be
give me
true.
some examples?
Let me think. Can you guys think of any
I
like
don't know.
off the top of your head?
Not off the
Around
top.
here.
Yeah, just like a fun story. I don't know, like a good example. I mean, it's hard to.
Wait,
it's
of
hard
what?
to.
I missed something.
It's hard to get in. Those bongs.
Got
Water
distracted.
pipes. Water
Water
pipes.
Yeah, but I don't know specifically, but I mean, just there's a lot of like synchronicities and things that happen that just like coincidences and stuff that like seem to. And I know that's everybody's life everywhere. I'm not saying it's just like something specific to our town or our like community or whatever.
Well,
but
yeah, but I think that it's really neat that you're able to see these things because you just said that like there's a lot of crazy things that go on. I've literally never written a song about anything crazy that's gone on or even really acknowledge anything crazy that goes on. And I think
I guess like we have so much time to do whatever
Right.
sometimes, and like especially we can get pretty bored and then
sure.
end up like kind of become observant
Right.
of like some really dumb stuff
Gotcha.
or crazy or like whatever. But, like,
That's funny. I forgot that we have some of your tracks. Do you guys want to listen to Game of Chess first or Magic Conch?
yeah, we can play Game of Chess first. That's the opener. Yeah.
guitar melody of that song is so catchy and really great, and it's very Chase Beaire to me. It's I think that you definitely have this sort of, I don't know how to describe it, but I could hear a song that I didn't know who wrote it, and I'd be like, oh, that's Chase Beaire playing. And I think that for a lot of people in this town, you guys are all nodding your head, so you all sort of seem to feel the same way, I'm hoping at least.
Yeah, Chase definitely has he kind of has a specific character, like, whatever.
They're all like really cool,
not whatever, but
finger-picked seeming lines for the most part, right?
He's got a sound.
Yeah.
I can't hold a pick because I don't have knuckles.
Fair enough. Talk to me a little bit about that song in particular for inspiration, or how you guys worked in writing it.
That song kind of changed a little bit because there was a lineup change.
Yeah.
Yeah, so technically Nick Celery wrote the bass part.
Yeah.
Just tweaked it a little bit, and then I play it now.
Yeah, a lot of the early, like the first couple songs on this album were before they were in the band, and that was just kind of like a time of figuring out what needed to be, and finding the right puzzle pieces, I guess, to like fit together. But that, I mean, Zarin and I were already like best friends at the time, and so it was like the obvious, obviously, all right, Zarin. And then I actually had a dream about Trevor being my drummer one night, and then woke up and literally messaged him. It was like 8 a.m, and I was like, what are you doing today? Like, we need to hang out.
Yeah, we didn't even really talk that much.
Yeah, we didn't know each other.
Like,
he briefly had, we'd known each other from playing music together in previous like bands and stuff. And then one time he bought a pedal off of me, and that was like the only interactions we'd had. But as far as that song though, I mean, it's pretty explanatory really, but I mean, the gist of it is like, I don't want to try to make it like too political or too what's the word I'm looking for?
Are you trying to say like you? I don't know what the word you're thinking of is, but are you trying to say something like you don't want to be too divisional?
Yeah, and I mean that's the line in the song, I guess. But yeah, it's like about pretty much just being divided and being like used pretty much for people's own political like agenda, and and not being able to be successful as a society and in general in the world, because there are people who are I believe trying to keep that from happening, and class separation and things, and like it's a big problem, I'd say.
Gotcha. So what are your plans for the future?
Just
tour more,
play as much as possible.
Are you guys like trying to make this your like career, I guess? Is that
Absolutely,
If it can happen, then for sure.
That would be the best.
What do you think are like? What are some of the like checklist things you have to do in order to make that a feasible thing?
Well, definitely tour.
Yeah, touring. I mean, that's like the biggest priority. I mean, eventually, if we could like sustain ourselves, to just like enough to just tour as much as possible, and then keep this as our home base. I mean, that's the idea right now, because Mansfield is so like cheap to live in, and just so like it's so easy to work here and live here. A lot of people come here and stay because of that, and that are artists, and that's why we have a lot of artists, because there's a lot of time to make all your art and do whatever you want. And
it's just we got to get out there and make connections and keep on trying to get further, and
definitely stay
there.
dedicated to it. Which I think we definitely are. We're pretty like passionate about our stuff.
Right.
So
there's pretty much no other option.
That's kind of how
like
we're all on that.
Pretty one-track mind about it.
Are you all the same age?
Yeah,
sort of.
Him and I are the same age, and he's 21.
And who? They can't see.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's true.
Sorry,
Trevor and I.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We're both 19.
But we were born like a couple days apart.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. And Zarin, how old are you?
21.
Oh, okay. So you're the cool kid of the group.
That's right.
Yes. Gotcha. Cool.
It's my title.
Cool.
Yeah.
How
always
did you guys
bailing him out of jail, getting him out of trouble?
That's, most important, maybe.
Yeah. There we go.
How did you guys settle on the name AdamAtom?
It's a mantra. It's like
pitter patter. Let's get
right, exactly.
Letterkenny. Okay, yeah, this is. I like this.
You're in a good environment. Man. You're in a great environment.
Be comfortable. No, I mean, it's actually really what it was though was just trying to find a band name so much for such a short period of time, and that's what happened. And like, yeah, it just came out of just writing a lot of words down and looking at them and being like, which ones look cool together.
Gotcha. Well, I really like it. I think it's a neat sound. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like AdamAtom. It's just fun to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of it.
Thank you.
And I think it's really cool how I think that you probably could have just called your band the Chase Beaire Band or something, but I think it's really cool that you didn't.
Yeah, well, it's not, and it isn't that. Like, when I was doing solo stuff, I mean, that's what, like, I did for a period, but then realized that, like, I don't want to be a solo artist. You know what I mean? Like, I want to have a band and, like, be...
all kind of collaborate on the same
exactly. Like,
collective
collective effort in the same, to the same degree. Everyone's... like has equal say in what goes on, and you know
what I liked about AdamAtom before I was even in the band is that it sounds like everybody's doing like their own thing.
Yeah,
right.
Like the guitarist is doing something completely separate, even from the bassist and the drums, and it sounds like they're apart, but it all comes together, and it's awesome.
Right.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're absolutely right. It is a really cool, and I never really thought about it that way. But no, it is cool how there's definitely individual traits for each song, but they all come together in a really great way.
Yeah.
Right. That's how it has to be, though. I think.
Yeah,
to be,
for sure.
To be in order to be a successful band, I mean, it can't be one too one-sided, or I guess too one-sided would not be the
1 2-sided.
1 2-sided or lopsided or whatever.
1 2-sided. Yeah, no, I agree. I was actually listening to a podcast, and I just don't remember who the podcast was, or who was on the podcast, or what the name of the podcast was. But it was this fellow musician who was interviewing other musicians, and they were talking about going on tour and how important it is to sort of do what you're talking about. Make sure that people are not feeling undervalued or unimportant or less important than other people, and
Right.
they were talking. This is a band, I can't remember the name of it, but they're one of those bands that are doing well. Like they make enough money to sleep in hotels and like
for sure.
splurge on like single hotel rooms for like one band member a week or whatever to like really make them feel appreciated and stuff like that. And I had never really thought about that, mostly because I've only ever been in one band and we've never gone on tour. So, like bands who've been together forever, like Maroon 5 or Coldplay or all these bands, like they're really good friends, like you guys, but it's important because you're always going to have disagreements, right? I mean,
there has to be bickering.
There's somewhat of a
Yin and
family,
yang.
but you have to understand that there's like this, brotherly love or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, like there's a
in the
lot
end.
of bands that treat it more like a business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's definitely what we're trying. Like,
we're not trying to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but that's why it took like a little bit of time to get us together, because like the way I see it is like this band is like it's like almost its own entity that we are all kind of equally in charge of taking care of, and like parenting, or even like, to make it even cooler, I kind of visualize the band as just like this spiritual entity that we're all like sorcerers in charge of taking care of, and like we've like opened up this magic circle with this being that is this band, and we're all standing around it, like,
Let's contain
charging
it with this music.
Yeah, exactly. Containing it, like keeping it locked in its like magic circle with our music, and so
Gotcha.
that's I think the best explanation of like this.
Sure. Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about?
A microphone is powerful.
How did we all get together?
Oh, I'm sorry. I kind of thought we had talked about that.
Yeah,
can
we did.
totally
Did
do
we?
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then. Yeah.
Was that back when you were focused on bong water?
Oh, that's probably what. Yeah, that's probably.
I was
what it
I was a little dehydrated. So
Gotcha.
What are you
Gotcha.
drinking right now? What is that?
It's my brain smoothie.
Nice.
Okay.
It has spinach, blueberries, raw honey, coconut oil,
Got that avocado.
avocado, yeah, banana, and almond milk.
That sounds utterly disgusting.
You
Oh, it's
would
amazing.
think,
Yeah, no.
it was the first couple times.
Dark chocolate too.
But
Ooh,
he
yeah.
perfected it,
Mhm.
and it's pretty good.
It's amazing.
Not to
But-
mention product placement. Golden Girls mugs, travel mugs, are the best.
Golden Girls is the best
Okay.
TV show.
I'll have to tag them in the tweet.
Right,
Oh,
right.
please do.
Yeah.
If you can get Betty White to listen to this, that would be amazing.
Dream come true.
Yeah.
Golden Girl fan, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Big time.
We all have to be Golden Girls.
Let's listen to Magic Conch before we say our goodbyes here.
All right.
And then we'll close out.
Okay.
It all tastes like poison when you're broke. But it's enough to make you feel less alone. It's for a half hour or so. It's back to the drawing board I go. It's not enough to replay. Under the day last night, I'm trying to differentiate. Not a chance inside. My memories are all counterfeit. Probably 'cause I was too young, too stoned to write about it. Where's my life gone? I guess it beats being born, but maybe just being born. It only cost me one soul. That's a deal I can shake on.
All right, so we're back, Richland Source live podcast. Yeah, I need one of those buttons that has all like the horns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So talk to me about Magic Conch a little bit.
It's a fun song.
Yeah, it's very fun
It's like one of the
song to
funnest
play.
songs, yeah.
We made a music video for it, but I
We gotta
honestly
work on it.
forgot about
Yeah,
it.
Oh, yeah, we haven't even took that out.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
We gotta-
so maybe we should put our heads together here on Richland Source podcast and
Yeah.
We are putting
Work
out
out
our
the-
music video.
yeah, like finish the editing right here. It's a nice studio
Yeah.
to do it in.
Yeah,
You can
absolutely.
help us know.
Yeah, I probably could.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could.
It's
True. That's right.
but yeah, it's about not being able to have enough money to afford nice things like the super green power brain smoothie right here.
And I need to admit, I need to come clean. Zarin was offered me a swig of it,
Yeah.
and it was so much better than I
Yeah.
anticipated.
You
It's
can't judge
actually
a book by its
ayahuasca.
cover. Yeah, you're in for a fun day.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Fun 4 days, actually. The next 4 days are going to be very
gonna be
long.
crying.
Well, you
for
should know
4
that I'm
hours.
interviewing Ben Whitley after this,
Oh,
so
nice.
maybe that is a good idea.
Yeah.
It's true.
You want me to give him a little bit? Too?
Yeah,
Give him a
yeah.
cup?
Yeah.
So not having enough money and anything else, or was that about it?
Yeah, and also just like what we already were talking about a little bit, just about being so bored and being from a small town where there's really nothing to do if you don't have money, because we can't just go shopping all the time. You know what I mean? Like, and a lot of people here, it's like that's what you do is you know, and
Walmart.
in the wintertime, in the wintertime, it's like really hard to.
Yeah, winters especially.
Yeah,
bad.
I mean, we just lock ourselves up inside.
right.
And then
it's like,
sad.
so are you bored, or are you just gonna are you gonna make something? You know what I mean?
Right.
And like, to me, I can't excuse any like behavior without having created something, you know, like first. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard for me to feel like pity for myself or whatever. Like, you know, when I get depressed or whatever in the wintertime.
It's like, shut up, stupid! You're not even doing anything.
Right.
Yeah.
So you mean, you know, you're gonna make something out of it, or just continue to complain about it, you know? I mean, that's kind of what it's about.
Well, the good news is that it's getting warmer outside. We've got
Yes.
the weird thing about the music in Mansfield is that it goes to sleep in the winter. Like, there's this weird hibernation
it
that goes
like
on.
that, honestly.
And I mean, this may be sort of egotistical sounding, but I like to imagine that the Richland Source After Hours calendar sort of is the beginning and end of when most bands are active and stuff like that.
And
so I'm excited that next week's the week that we
Yeah.
all get back out there.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, there is stuff going on in the wintertime, but it's a lot less. There's not as much outdoor stuff, and that's the big thing. And so, like, you know, especially with the Brickyard shows and whatnot, that brings a lot of that fills that void of like, oh man, like I feel like I'm not connected to the community right now or whatever, because it doesn't happen in the wintertime. So when those happen too, that kind of brings in like you said, after hours as well, like just but which the one in the garage was pretty amazing, even though like I wish that we could do that all year round and just have like the
great.
but the weather, you know.
The Halloween show I'm hoping you're talking about. That was a product of Jay, our publisher, I kid you not, being afraid of Mahoney destroying his building. So that was the sole reason.
That's safe to assume that it might happen.
And we're gonna cram all three of us and the three touch members in my 2001 Chevy Astro van. Yeah. It's like
with all the gear.
Yeah, with all the gear. It's like
it's
a
good time.
5-passenger van.
Me and Heath are gonna cuddle a little bit.
We're all gonna get
definitely
really
a good
close.
time to bring deodorant.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Or none at all.
Yeah,
or none at all.
True.
That's true.
Go on.
Our own signature. We could bottle our sweat and make a AdamAtom Touch Torque cologne line.
Oh,
that would be
eau de pour.
Exactly. Well, guys, I wanted to thank you for coming in today. I had a great time talking to you. After Hours will be on the 12th of April, and you guys will be opening the show up for us. The show will begin around 6:30, and I'm really looking forward to it. There's going to be free food, free beer for people like me and Zarin, who are 21, and the food is going to be brought to us by Doc's Deli, and Mechanics Bank is sponsoring the Newsroom After Hours this year. We're really excited about that. But thanks again for coming by. I really appreciated it.
Thanks for having
us. Yeah.